everyone. Welcome back to the Malbeefance channel. This is episode 3 of our playthrough of Strategic Command World War II War in the Pacific, with me playing as the Allies against a computer-controlled Japanese Empire. And so we will just go ahead and jump right into the turn and see what we get. Now, last episode, the Japanese conquered Singapore. 7th Armored here arrives for service in Southeast Asia. Okay. Japanese reinforce Burmese front. Partisan activity in China. That was a major bane to me when I was playing the Japanese. Defensive air cover protects the U.S.-China convoys. Japanese submarine shells the California coast. I'm sorry, I gotta laugh because now that event actually did happen, and it caused about maybe $500 worth of damage in 1941 money, 42 money, which still ain't that much more today. But Steven Spielberg was able to get a great movie out of this event. All right, UK scientists report progress with amphibious warfare development up to 65%, while US scientists report submarine warfare development up to 61%, and spying and intelligence up to 41%, production technology up to 40%, Soviet scientific progress in advanced fighters up to 45%, Communist Chinese production technology development up to 39%. There is our ledger for next turn. And so, yeah, so the Japanese have moved they've got a toehold in Burma. They have taken Singapore. Japan deploys its paratroopers at Shanghai. Okay, so that is a decision point that I remember from my playthrough as the Japanese. I could either deploy them near Singapore, or I can deploy them here in China. Obviously, the computer has chosen to deploy them in China. All right, so we're looking at Imperial Japanese Army movement in China. Japanese destroyer showing up off of Port Moresby. Okay, so the surviving Malaysian fighter squadron doing what it can to slow down the Japanese advance into Burma. Oh, Manila holding on by the skin of their teeth. Right, Chinese artillery helping out with defense there. All right, I wasn't able to stop the landing on New Britain, but we did some damage. And they got Guadalcanal. Well, I knew I was going to lose the islands. I didn't expect to lose them that quickly. Solomon surrender. Japan gets 28 production points. And Bismarck Archipelago surrenders, and they get 36 production points. Japanese port defenses fire on my ships. First Australia Corps arrives on Ceylon. And there's our activity summary. General Ashimo Chiang Kai-shek, better known as the Peanut. There are separatist movements in Xinjiang province, most notably those Muslims who tried some years ago to set up an independent East Turkestan Republic. Consequently, unless we act to assert our authority in the region, disorder will prevail. It is therefore in our interest to move a corps, army, or tank unit in or near Urumqi, the region's capital, in order to quash these attempts to dominance and assert dominance of the Kuomintang. Doing so will increase national morale. Failure to do so will lead to outbreaks and disorder. Place a Chinese corps army or tank. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to get them guys up the road. All right, so what's this? We will soon have a light tank unit available for deployment, and it could be used in this role until a corps or army becomes available. Okay. And the UK deploys the Truant submarine. All right, so Royal Sovereign is ready to go out and have some fun. Need to reinforce the fighters. Upgrade the Indomitable. I remember in my playthrough as Japan, Indomitable was either here at Calcutta or over here at Chittagong, and I caught them before they were able to improve the strength of the carrier and wound up sinking it early on in the game. That was a major, major victory. All right, so try and get these guys up to strength as quickly as possible so I can get them over into Burma. I just spent all of England's money for the UK's production points. All right, so that keeps supply running to all three of these units. Just try and hold on to Rangoon as long as we can. See how things develop in Indonesia. As much as I would like to send that submarine after that Japanese destroyer. Let's see if we can get some damage done this way. Right, so swap them out, get the cruiser out of there. Alright, so he was able to do some damage. And the destroyer isn't really doing me any good up here. Now let's upgrade him first. Might never have a better chance. Alright, so I wanted to send him to Guadalcanal and defend the capital, but that's not happening. Let's try that. The computer seems to be blitzing me down through the Solomons. Can he make it? Almost. Anybody else? Yep, over here. Oklahoma. I don't want to get too close to the Goobers. got an airfield there. There could be naval bombers. I know I put naval bombers there during my playthrough, so. All right. So that brings us to these guys. All right, so either the end of this turn or the beginning of next one, they should launch the Doolittle raid. And that should get us some national morale points. All right, anybody I'm forgetting other than the Russians? All right, so now mainland China, reinforce him. All right, so thanks to winter, their defense is doing okay. It didn't get us anything, but I need to get these guys out of there. All right, I'd rather have, I would rather have General Shu sitting in Changsha. We'll swap these guys around. I'll try and get the artillery up here now. I've got tactical bombers. Can they do any good? Not this time around. Get them a little bit closer. Reinforce them, get them ready for the next attack. So I don't know if you noticed, but they've got prepared defensive positions here. So that's why I'm not going to march these guys any further south. And they've also only got, I don't even think, no, the general can't even support them, so. All right, so that brings us over here to the Philippines. So swapping those two guys out, getting him reinforced 6 points is really going to eat up their readiness and morale. So these guys are a little bit better, so moving them in to defend the capital might buy us a turn. All right, are we forgetting anybody? I don't believe so. I don't have anything left over for the UK to go ahead and reinforce him. All right, so continuing to push on research. So UK's got nothing left. They've only got those 5 points. United States is actually maxed out. Okay, so Soviet Union only has 36 points left. There's nothing they can spend that on, so they bank it. Chinese, maximum research funding. They've only got 90 left. Okay. Who knows? Maybe I can get tanks later. All right, Communist Chinese. They've only got 54 left. Australia's got 55 left. They're maxed out on naval construction. Nothing else. All right, so purchase. Communist Chinese can get a garrison. Better than nothing. Nationalist Corps. All right, so United States. keep the Marines coming as long as I can. All right, everything else, we just bank. All right, so that is going to do it for this turn. Let's go ahead and advance. See what we get. British War Office. An eccentric British officer, Lord Wingate, has come up with a plan to form an elite unit that can be used to attack Japanese positions in Burma and beyond. Yep, he is very enthusiastic. If you agree to this request and say yes, it will deploy the 11th Special Forces Unit at Delhi, better known as the Chindits. Raising equipment and training will take 200 production points at 25 for 8 turns. Yes, we definitely want the Chindits. Definitely. They became an elite unit that raised hell all across Southeast Asia against the Japanese. U.S. submarines start using Fremantle as a base. I've actually been there. Fremantle in Perth. Axis raiders disrupting U.S.-China convoys. American scientists report amphibious warfare development, 100%. So they got a breakthrough. Amphibious warfare level 2. Soviet industrial technology development, 59%. There is our alert for the next turn. All right, what are the Japanese going to do this turn? They seem to be blitzing me down in between Australia and Melanesia, out here in the Coral Sea. Can Houston survive? Pretty good interception distance. They're just eating those guys up. And that's it for Rangoon. And Manila. Alright, so the Japanese light tanks are doing damage, but they're not. They did not advance into Manila. Hey, Burma surrenders. Japanese plunder 79 production points. Here we go. U.S. bombers launch a raid on Tokyo before flying on to China. Japanese national morale falls as carrier-launched aircraft bomb Tokyo. U.S. national morale boosted. Japanese port defenses fire on allies outside Rangoon. Yeah, so I get having the Royal Sovereign Park there was not a good idea. British East Africa Corps arrives. Japan sponsors the formation of the Burma Independence Army Group. Gets them a ground unit. All right, combat losses, summary report, morale report. Right, for the Nationalist Chinese, loss of Burma and the closing of the Burma Road significantly weakens our position. It may be possible for a small amount of supplies to be brought over the hump. Criterion, we must maintain control of Zhejiang province. This is done by keeping a Chinese core army or tank unit within 2 hexes of hex 3648. All right, got to remember to track that down. The route from Delhi through Lucknow and Kathmandu must be in Allied hands, okay? Tibet must have a pro-Allied leaning of at least 25%. Recommend investing in diplomacy with Tibet to ensure the other criteria are met. Note that diplomatic efforts made by our allies may also help. Got a grammatical error there. Warspite. Warspite, however you want to pronounce that. There are people that get into hellacious arguments over the proper pronunciation of the ship's name. And joins the fleet. First Chinese engineers, so they can start building. Actually, that is a very good idea. There it is, 200th Mech Light. So that's the light tank unit I can put up here, because I think I forgot to move them last turn. And man, that is a long trek, isn't it? What was I thinking? Okay, they're in place. Now, where was that city? There's Kangding. Let's see. Okay, so there's Lido. Kunming. Well, this is Zikgang province. What hex is that there? 3648. Okay, so that was it right there. Okay, so they're sitting right there. Put them back in the city. They're still good. While I'm thinking about it, get these guys back out of there. Get back to the fight. And oops, there. There we go. How much movement does he have? 2. Cost him 1 to get there. All right, so that's going to reopen. That's going to reopen my supply routes a little bit. Okay. And I got that guy garrisoning Kathmandu. I can get these guys out of here. Block the road there. I don't think he is in position. No, he's not. Okay, so move him up there. I can only reinforce him. And it's only 1 point. All right, so... I've only got enough to do 1 point. Okay, I blew it all already. All right, well, next turn we'll be able to move this guy, get him up here to Chittagong. We got a kind of sort of defensive line going on there. All right, moving back to mainland China. The rain is a help. We'll just hold our defensive position here for now. I don't want to try and do anything too particularly adventurous, because then it may turn out to be stupid. But let's do this. So basically, I'm hoping to set myself up for a counter-offensive here. So I guess we're going to keep playing this game here. They're going to keep moving up, they'll attack and then move back. All right, so that is going to do it for Chinese forces. Now, I do believe, am I done with the existing Soviet forces? Nope, he can be reinforced. And then I'll save the rest. All right, so now, U.S. forces. It's only a matter of time before we lose Manila, but one more turn in our hands is one more turn in our hands. Everything I can do to slow down the Japanese is working. I should have double moved him. How much can he repair? Just 1 point. Oh, well, at least it got him to retreat. So what did he do? It looks like he's heading toward... they're going to go ahead and they're going to grab Atape and Wewek. All right, let's try and close the gap for the moment. We'll think about counterattacks later. On this part of the map anyway. I went ahead and I had Oklahoma and the Cachalot move in slowly because I'm starting to see Japanese naval forces down there and I don't want them to accidentally get jumped. So we'll move in a little bit more cautiously. All right, now my heroes over here. Who is this? That's Wake Island. So that is in enemy hands at the moment. Let's make a beeline to get out of here. I wonder if the computer will have the IJN come out looking for that strike force. Would be nice, keep them tied up, chasing ghosts for a turn or two. All right, I think that's going to about do it. Did I reinforce him? Yes, I did. Okay. And we'll keep the Kiwis down here for the moment, just in case. All right, so I think that does it for tactical movement. Move on to research. So UK, once again, I spent them dry. Sorry about that. I got to remember next turn to not, if I can get away with it, don't spend anything on the UK. All right, so America. Yeah, we made a breakthrough. So what do I got left? 170. So let's get production technology in there. The Russians only have 68 left. Nothing they can spend on. Nationalist Chinese. Logistics. No, oh, I forgot. Yeah, they're at maximum funding. Okay. And Australia's got 104. I am going to bank that. I'm not even going to buy new units, so that way I can go ahead and I can get their industrial technology going. So that reminds me, let me double check. since Burma fell. Okay, that's set. Nothing I can do there. America's maxed out. Australia's maxed out. Those are going to Japan. Okay, so nothing more I can do there. All right. So purchases. Oh, they can get a whole army going. Okay. Actually, the fighters might be a better idea. USSR can purchase a garrison. We'll skip on that. Now, the United States has got a lot of naval units coming. So I am going to focus on ground units for the moment. And subsequently, I'm going to focus on amphibious warfare units, just in case. We'll go ahead and we'll hold the islands, the ones that I need to hold in order to keep the supply line going. All right, that is going to take care of spending. Everything else is going to get banked. All right, so that is going to be it for this episode. Got a little bit of naval action going on down here in the Coral Sea. We have an absolute crisis going on over here in Burma. And I wouldn't call it a crisis in China. But at the same time, the effectiveness of the Chinese forces, the technology disparity between the Japanese and the Chinese aren't allowing me to do anything there. And the Philippines, it's just a matter of time. Probably next turn, the Japanese are going to take Manila, and that is going to be it for the Philippines. But it looks like I can still do a little bit of damage down here in the Coral Sea. All right. Okay, well, if you made it this far, please leave a like. Go ahead and drop a comment. Helps grow the channel. And if you're not already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted when I upload new videos. And please, if you know somebody that likes this sort of content, by all means share this with them. And thank you once again, and I will see you on the next one.